This is what's left of a rocking chair I built for my son over 30 years ago. Kind of a modification of different ideas I saw in different books and magazines and stuff. And this is like 15 inches, this is 15 inches, and that's an old rocker, and that's the old seat, came apart. And so a year or so later, year and a half or so later, a friend of my brother's wanted 6 or 8 of these, I don't remember how many of them I made, for his nieces and nephews, but he wanted them smaller. So I cut it down like this, and the edges across here were 12 inches, and shrunk everything down, including the rockers and all that. One of the mistakes I made was on the rocker is I didn't have it centered properly, so that the chair actually leaned over a little bit instead of even sitting center or even back a little bit. So anyway, I decided to revisit this, and so I made, just recently made one, and I've got plans, and I'll show you this. I'll show you this, the new one. Yes, I will. So this is the one I made, just finished, out of poplar. I was going to try to stain it and finish it that way, but I couldn't get it on the scrap pieces. I just could not get a decent finish, so I just gave up and painted it. It's poplar anyway, so you know what the heck. It is 12 inches across the back, 12 inches from side to side. From, if I hold the rocker straight up, it's 28 inches to the top. And these are 22 inch rockers. Seat opens up. I'm going to put some self-stick felt on there, I think eventually, to muffle that boom a little bit. And I'll have plans on these on my Etsy page. And if you make any modifications of them, like if you decide to make the back of the seat higher, it's going to pull the weight back more. So you're going to have to position the rockers a little differently. Anyway, I'll show you how I did this, and we'll get started. Okay, I've got everything cut to rough size. I just got to glue everything together. and that concludes the glue up part of this project. I got everything out of the clamps, and I'm getting ready to cut them to their final sizes. Whenever I do a project like this, I like to make myself a couple of templates. This will do the side, the rocking chairs, the roundover part. There's a handle for the back, and this is the top of the back. If I want to do the back like this instead of with the curve, I can also do this end. I also have a template for the rocker, and I've already got them cut to size and marked. Then I'll also use the template when I get done. I'll cut outside the line just a little bit. When I get done, I'll use the template stuck on with two-sided tape to hit it with a router and a plush trim bit, and that'll make it a lot easier to deal with than trying to do a lot of sanding and stuff. Now, if one wanted to, one could also use the template to put handles on the sides of the rocking chair instead of the back or the top. And I'll move over to the bandsaw. I'll hit the drill press here and here, take it out with the scroll saw. I'm going to be using these flange bearings and this quarter-inch steel pin as hinges to raise and lower the seat on. I have my homemade ugly little doweling jig set up on the rocker. I am going to attach the sides. I'm going to dowel 4 holes in here, 5/16. And then I'm going to attach this straight up that way so it matches with the side, and then glue them together. I've got 2 of these to do. It'd be nice if I had everything set up the way I was thinking ahead of time so I could just reach right over and grab stuff. One done. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I have the doweling jig set up so I have orange lines for the rockers, and then I have these brown lines for when I put the backs to the side and all that. I'm going to drill to the side that way. And so by doing this way and that way, I'm trying to keep things lined up as much as possible. Truth of the matter is, I've never been real happy with doweling jigs I bought. It seems like I keep buying them and I'm never happy with them. So, you know, I'm trying this. It's just hardwood. I can't find any bushings or sleeves to give me a 5/16 hole for a guide. So, I'm just using some oak. I've got the back in my vise. I have it set up to put the bottom on. Got tape in there to keep the squeeze out to a minimum. I've got holes already drilled for the dowel rod, and I'm going to get started. I'm going to put the front onto the bottom, and this is my little doweling jig you saw earlier. I'm going to use the orange marks, and I'm going to start with the outside marks, and I'll show you how I kind of do that. Trying to draw this out. It's got a little bow from the middle there, so I'm trying to draw that in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Yeah, much better. I got a little carried away with trying to figure out exactly how I was going to do stuff off camera and kept going, forgot to tape some of this stuff, so I thought I'd show you what I did. I used my little doweling jig here. This time I used the black normal pencil marks here, here, and here. And I drilled the holes in here. I had a clamp down and I had a sacrificial piece underneath to keep tear out underneath down to a minimum. And then I used the same jig over here to put these three holes in, and I used this, I lined this up and got it all squared away to drill these holes in here, using it as its own doweling jig. And after I got those drilled and after I got that done, I went ahead and I used these little doweling pins here. I made sure this is square. And I put this on top of that, which put holes in here for me to go by. And I drilled these holes with backer boards on my standing drill press. And this is the seat rest, which is only on the double stick tape right now. And what I'm going to do is I have these bushings temporarily in place in my seat, and I'm going to I've got them drilled and put in place but not glued. I'm going to do that after I finish it. I've got these 1/4 inch dowel center finders that I'm going to put into the seat bushings. And I'm going to use these to find the center for the pivot point of the seat, which has to be back enough ways to turn properly and curved enough to do so. I've got a little 1/32 spacer in here to allow for just a little space between the back and the back of the seat. Everything as square as I can be. I'm going to try to raise this up. Well, you see how much fun that is. Okay. Okay, I just have to drill these holes out here and here and put in the inserts. And we've got a 15/32 drill bit chucked into the press. I'm just going to go down just enough to put this little lip so it'll be countersunk, but just barely countersunk. I don't want to go too deep in this. The whole bushing is a 1/2 inch from top to bottom, and I don't want to go through my workpiece. Now I'm going to chuck in a 3/8 inch drill and take it down the rest of the way. I'm not using stops or anything, I'm just going to take my time, kind of bring it in. We'll see how well that works. I put the 3/8 inch drill bit into the press, and I'm going to drill the inner hole for the bushing. And that's where my pin's going to fit in. One to go. One down, one to go. I have put, I've clamped blocks into place to hold this side seat support on. I have removed the double stick tape, and I'm going to glue it and tack it in place. I'm going to glue the one side on, but before I put the rest of this together, I'm going to go ahead and finish as much of it as I can in the seat, because I won't be able to finish the seat and underside parts with it all put together. So in order to make sure things line up and I don't get glue where I don't want it, I'm going to put about 3 of these 5/16 pins into place. I'm ready to put the rest of the chair together. I was going to try to stain it, but me and Poplar don't get along when it comes to staining. It always gives me nothing but grief. I painted the inside parts of the chair and left the outside parts to be painted after I drive my pins and sand this all down and all that. I've got the seat done. I have, see if I can get over here where you can see a little closer. I have my pins put in with the little bushings to pivot the seat on, and I'm going to assemble all this. Now I made the seat with a little bit of a lip on it so the child could pick it up without trying to have a handle or anything like that on there. I'm going to try to glue this all together with, it's warm today. These projects take me a little while. I have a day job and all that. So I'm going to try to get this, you know what, I'll put this aside for just a moment so it's not my way when I'm putting on the glue. I'm going to let that dry for 24 hours before I pull them out of the clamp. One of the issues I had with the old rocking chair is I used a dowel hinge and just a wooden dowel. I didn't glue it into the seat. I glued it into the side of the chair, which I just drilled all the way through and then glued it in on the way in. Well, this eventually broke out because of the grain of the wood and the fact that it was constantly rubbing against it, it was going to give. I tried 3 different seats to fix this situation. One of them being, I did the same thing basically. I was going to use this flange bearing and pin, 1/4-inch pin, as a bearing, so this would all be glued in with epoxy, and I cut this down, and hopefully that would stop any rip out. But the time I put my curvature on here, I wasn't going to have much left here. Even though the seat sits, there's always wood movement and different things happening, so you want it a little better. I also decided to put the grain the other way. The second seat I tried, as you can see, I already ripped it out just in putting the curvature on here. And the idea, the concept was that the grain going this way would be harder to rip out. But even with the flange bearing and steel pin in there, I felt it was still too far back. So I redid it and I brought the whole thing forward an inch, inch and a 1/16, something like that. And I redid it, and that's the 3rd lid that's in there. So I'm back here, so I'm back further like this. Got to show you the picture. And it pivots so that this actually, it hits the bracing inside and does not hit the back of the chair. I'll show you. On the seat that's in it, I moved the pin back, the hinge, back from the back of the seat, an inch and a 1/16. When it opens up, it does not hit the back of the chair. This, the support in the back here, it hits that's cut out underneath there, so it swings and stops right on the bottom of this. I don't know how well you can see, but it stops in the back there. And I'll keep it from putting a mark or groove in the back of the seat. And I'm eventually going to put, like I said earlier, self-sticking felt there. So that'll keep the noise a little quieter. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there, show you some of the things I went through in order to make the chair. It was redesign in progress. I forget some of the things I did 30 years ago. I had to use the old one and shrink it down and start all over from scratch again. So these are just what I call afterthoughts on the project.